In Creo 11.0, we have added many new capabilities within the Creo Weld application. To show you these improvements, let's create some spot welds in this small assembly. First, when I enter Creo Weld, you will notice a Weld and Joints Tree. This tree supports all the features you create while in the Weld application. You can perform all operations from this tree. The tree supports search and filters are available. Next, we now have an optional step you can perform in Weld called a joint member. A joint member defines which components are involved in the welding process or which parts you are joining together. You can create these two ways. One way is with the assistant, which will help you analyze where the top common assembly is, or you can manually create the joint member. This helps the user understand fully which parts are involved in the joint by providing a transparency color to the parts involved in the rest of the assembly is in wireframe. Next, let's define some points for our spot welds. In Creo 11, we now support all datum points for creating spot welds. In the past, we only supported datum points that were placed on a plane, but now in Creo 11, you can use any point regardless of how it was created. In addition, we have enhanced core Creo capabilities to create datum points in a couple of new ways, which will be demonstrated here. First, you can project points from a sketch. You can project them to a surface of a part as shown here. This use case not only helps Creo users in Weld, but also in core Creo. I now have many points to use for spot welds in these two brackets. After I select the points, I can modify the diameter of the spot nugget size and complete the feature. You can now clearly see this feature in the weld tree within the active joint member. This enhancement is a big time saver compared to the method needed in previous releases of Creo. Let's create a new joint member for another spot weld feature. Again, joint members are optional. They also support all weld operations and not just spot weld features. Next, we'll define points in another new way with this new joint member active. New in Creo 11, you can select a curve and select offset. This will create a new offset curve. Again, this can be done outside of welding to enable many kinds of use cases. In this case, I want to create a pattern of points along this new curve and then select it for a new spot weld feature. The spot weld feature that I'm making here and the previous one with the sketch are both parametric, which means any changes that I make to the model for the pattern or the sketch of points will result in updated spot welds. Lastly, we now support a new export called xMCF. In Creo 11, this is supported only for all spot welds, and there are plans to expand this in the next release. xMCF is a new standard that many companies are starting to use or consider for downstream operations. With these enhancements to Creo Weld, users will be more efficient and able to use more weld information downstream within their companies.